all this then? Well, what all this is then is a video about Mego Hammer action figures. And we're going to start with the first one that they came out with in 2020, Dracula. And it's played by the great Christopher Lee. Take a look at that sculpt there. Very nice. Of course, this packaging does not say Christopher Lee anywhere because they probably never wanted to pony up for the extra licensing fee. But anyway, it's a great Christopher Lee Dracula figure, especially for the price. You can get one of these for less than 20 bucks. And you know, it's funny. We wanted Hammer action figures so bad in the 1970s and even the 60s. Never got anything. Never a peep. We got to wait till 2020 to get mainstream Hammer action figures. I'm glad somebody finally rose to the occasion and did it. And there's the banner of Marty Abrams. That's repeated ad infinitum on Mego packaging. For my part, they could do away with that and have more room to tell something about the character or movies or, you know, something else interesting like that. But anyway, we've got the card graphics here, the environment, the tangled wood, and something tells me there may be a hawthorn bush hidden there somewhere, and Dracula had better watch his rear end, if you know what I mean, because that was his undoing in one of the Dracula films. The great Christopher Lee played Dracula in Hammer films 7 times, and this. Yeah, I even busted out the DVDs for this. This is the first one from 1958, and it and Curse of Frankenstein, which came out the year prior, changed the game for horror movies, really. And Hammer is very well known still. I mean, it's a driving force for especially older fans because of the gothic horror that they were reinterpretations of the classic monsters that Universal did, but they did them in color. And Hammer, even though they were on a shoestring budget, always had high quality. I mean, it looked like $1 million on the screen, even though it might just be a tenth of that a lot of times. Okay, that was Dracula from 2020, the first one. Now we've got his nemesis, Peter Cushing, as Van Helsing. And this has to be the Van Helsing from Horror of Dracula because of the coat, the classic coat. And you know, that's a pretty good sculpt for Peter Cushing there, especially for a $20 figure. Cannot complain about that. And of course, the environment card there, you've got, you know, the Gothic atmosphere in old London, I guess, there. And there's a picture of Peter Cushing as another Van Helsing. But, you know, in later films, he played like the original Van Helsing's descendants. And hey, it's all good, man. When Peter Cushing's on the screen, I'm happy. And there's Marty Abrams again. Get out of here, Marty. What the heck? And that's this same film. I mean, that's where that version of Van Helsing appeared first. You know, appeared at all with the coat on in Horror of Dracula. And that was just known as Dracula over in England. And, you know, when it came stateside, they changed it to Horror of Dracula. Those movies were huge in the late 50s. I mean, absolutely huge. And that started one of, you know, the big renaissance for horror. Now on TV, you had the shock theater package playing, showing the old Universal horror movies, and then in the theaters you had the new, sexier, bloodier, a little bit more edgy horror movies playing. And people were really excited for horror, and they've been excited ever since. I mean, it's always been huge. But by the way, this whole line here is dated 2021. So all of these came out in the last 2 years, and most of them came out more recently than that. This is the Hammer Frankenstein, called the creature. With Hammer, they didn't call him the monster until Monster from Hell, but this originally from Curse of Frankenstein, he was called the creature. And again, for a cheap figure, Mego really scored big time here. I mean, that's a good sculpt, man. Cannot complain. You know, I've got several other Hammer figures made by other companies, especially Distinctive Dummies, and they do high quality stuff. They're expensive. And at some point, I may do a video doing comparisons between the Megos and Distinctive Dummies, but that's for another time. And here's the environment card here. Frankenstein's lab, you know. But, you know, curiously, that looks like Strickfaden stuff from Universal instead of the Hammer Frankenstein labs. But, hey, you know, it looks good. Don't nitpick, right? There's a good shot of old Christopher. Dramatic pose, moon behind him. Pretty sweet. Not going to say anything about Marty there. Tired of griping. Okay, and boom. Curse of Frankenstein, 1957. That's the one that really started it all for Hammer as far as their popularity. Now, they did good movies before that, you know. Especially their science fiction fare in the 50s. You know, like Quatermass Experiment and Quatermass 2 and X the Unknown. I mean, those were great, man. They were in black and white. The color film, starting with Curse of Frankenstein, really changed the game, like I said. And now we move on to our next figure here. The Reptile from 1966. Played by Jacqueline Pierce under all that. Great makeup by Roy Ashton. And there's the environment card. Looks like a place where a big reptile would be happy. You know, you got your water in your woods and all is well. There again, great sculpt. Great sculpt. Bug-eyed reptile, big fangs, nice. All of these hammers are fantastic. If you haven't seen some of them, watch them. Just plain watch them, man. They're just awesome. Here's a good shot on the back of the reptile. And there's the movie. Very cool. Now, these newer releases on DVD from Scream Factory, really Shout Factory, they are loaded with special features, and they have like 1 or 2 commentaries and documentaries and World of Hammer episodes, and you know, if you don't have them and you're a Hammer fan, you need to grab them. And I don't have all of them. I still have the older box sets on some of those, but you know, eventually I'd like to get the newer ones. Some of them were just a little pricey, and You know how it goes. Next figure, we have from the Plague of the Zombies, we have the signature zombie guy. I have no idea who played this guy. It's probably makeup by Roy Ashton. You know, it was directed by John Gilling. And it's really nice. And they don't have an environment card on that one, just a weird psychedelic shot of the zombie's face, which is cool. And there's some pictures of a couple of zombies back there. Yeah, there, he looks like a victim. Very nice. Plague of the Zombies came out in '66. Oh, and this is, with this one, there is a variant by Topps. Topps did 3 variants for these figures. I don't have any of them because they only offered those for a week, and I missed out on that offer. You can get them on eBay now, and they're not that much, and I may eventually get them. But since I got the regular Mego versions, I'm not that keen on. You know, I usually don't really go for variants that much anyway. I've waited on the Megos, and I'm happy with them. May eventually end up with the Topps one day if I can get a really good deal on them. Who knows? Now, the Topps version of this has the costume here is in a lot lighter color, like a tan burlap looking ensemble. Okay, let's go to next one here. This is the Mummy. This is old Christopher Lee again as one of Hammer's main monsters. And you know, it's another great figure. And for 20 bucks or less on these, I mean, you can't beat them. You know, you go to buy distinctive dummies, if you can find them, like on the secondary market on eBay, the common ones are like a couple of $100, maybe up to 300 sometimes. I mean, it's just crazy because they're so limited. But they made plenty of these, thank goodness. I mean, man, you could go in Target and buy these things. And there's another good shot of Christopher in the Mummy makeup on the back. Yeah, another Topps of that one. The Topps version of that Mummy has like holes blown in his chest. And the body is clear where you can see through. They're trying to mimic the poster, I think, that had it where the sunlight was shining through holes in the mummy, you know, for dramatic effect. And it's okay. I mean, I like this one too, so I'm not that worried about grabbing it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here's the last one. There are only 7 of these so far. I hope they make more. Who knows? This is the Phantom of the Opera. Now, I have the Blu-rays for these other 2, but I'm not going to boom those out because they're not, I mean, they're in box sets and they don't really stick out, you know, and impress like the single releases do. But anyway, this is Herbert Lom as Phantom of the Opera from 1962. Herbert Lom, great actor in a lot of stuff back in the day. There he's holding his mask. And another very high quality figure and a fantastic buy for less than $20. And there's a picture of him there in the Phantom getup. And here's another photo of him on the back. Very nice. Can't beat him for 20 bucks. You know, and I know a lot of people like to open their action figures, and that's cool. I'm just a mint in package collector. If the toy displays pretty well, and these are great because I mean you don't even have to prop these up. You can just stand them up. I have mine hanging up on the inside of a closet door right now, but because I ran out of wall space. But they're great. I mean, they display so well, and unless you just want to move your figures around and set up dioramas and stuff, you know, they display really great mint in package, and that's the way I like to do mine. All right, that covers it for now, and hopefully they will do more Mego Hammer action figures in future. We shall see. Later, guys.